If you have dark circles and pigmentation like this and you want your makeup to look like this, then keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ritika from the Hydra. I am a content creator based in Chennai. I do content around skincare, makeup, curly hair, and I'm super active on IG. So if you want to follow me and you want to know all my updates, you're gonna follow me on IG. Okay, on YouTube it takes me a lot of time to do these videos, so I'm really sorry about that. I'm not even gonna promise to be consistent because it just doesn't seem to happen. But anyways, I've been very consistent on short. I've been posting some content that I don't post on my IG as well. If you want to, please subscribe and ring the bell so you're never missing out my content. But for today's video, I'm gonna go through my entire makeup process. I'm gonna show you how I color correct, how I do my base, how I do my eyeshadow, my lips, everything. We're gonna go through top to bottom. I'm gonna give you all of the techniques, all of the details. I'm not gonna like gatekeep. In fact, I'm mostly gonna show you how I would do it in real time. I hope you guys find it useful. Dark circles is a topic that I always get asked about, and how to color correct is a topic I always get asked about. But I feel like I can't just focus on one thing. I have to show you guys a full meal deal so that you guys can see the vision, if you know what I mean. This is not a short video by any means. This is a very detailed video, so be sure to take your notes. Okay, let me know in the comments if you guys like this, and yeah, let's get started. So first things first, you want to decide what kind of skin type you have. Based on that, you can formulate your perfect base routine. So my skin is kind of oily but dehydrated, and it gets oily throughout the day. So my goal with my makeup is to make my makeup last long, make sure that it's oil controlling, and look matte mostly throughout the day. So that's kind of what I'm looking for with my skin. So decide what your makeup goals are. So let's say if you're going into office, like a 9 to 5, and you're going to sit in the AC the whole day, you're not going to sweat much, you can get away with using a lot more dewier products that have more emollient texture in them, maybe even skin tints. But I prefer to use proper foundation and concealer because, as you can see, I have dark circles and I have pigmentation, I have scarring from pimples. A lot of people have been questioning and asking like, what health issues do you have, why do you have dark circles, which I feel is a little bit of an intrusive question, and I never felt comfortable enough to talk about it, which is why it has taken me so long to make this video. I just wanted to make sure I was fully comfortable showing myself like this because it's not easy, and I do get a lot of hate for the way I normally look. Always make sure when you're starting off with your makeup to start off with a lip balm. Now, skincare wise, I don't do anything in the morning. I actually almost never do any sort of treatment or, you know, actives in the morning. That's just how I keep it. I keep it very simple and use one sunscreen. This is the current sunscreen I'm using. I even talked about it on my Instagram. This is the Wishcare Niacinamide Oil Balance Fluid Sunscreen, light and matte. It's a very lightweight, watery sunscreen that sort of sets matte on your skin, so it's really nice underneath makeup. So that's what I've already used on my skin. Once you've used your sunscreen or whatever skincare you're using, make sure you let your skin absorb this sunscreen. If you can hear any sort of snoring in the background, that's my dog Pepper. He's with me in the room today, which is very odd. He's usually not here when I'm filming, but I don't know, he just wants to hang out with me today, which I'm not complaining. You have to let your skincare absorb into your skin. You can't go directly with makeup and then expect your makeup to last long, because sometimes skincare needs some time to get into your skin. So what I do is I put sunscreen or whatever skincare I need to do right after I get out of the shower, and then while I get dressed, I let my skincare do its thing. So you can see that my skin, although it feels a little bit shiny, it's mostly matte and it doesn't feel icky, sticky, whatever. And I also apply the sunscreen a little bit under my eyes as well. I don't apply any under eye cream. I know a lot of people have opinions on this, but my opinion, especially with my skin type, I don't need an eye cream underneath. It always causes my makeup to crease and I look like a mess, and you guys can see I have lines as well under my eyes, so I have to make sure that nothing emollient is disturbing with the rest of the makeup. And the skin over here is quite thin, so if I apply something very thick, it tends to not absorb, so it kind of like sits on top of the skin, and then when you put makeup on top, it doesn't like gel with the makeup, you know what I mean? Once you've gotten the skincare down, now we're gonna go move into primers. I'm gonna keep the makeup as affordable as possible and products that are available in India so that everyone can have a chance to try out this tutorial. There might be some products here and there that are a little bit more high-end, so if you do find them, don't hate me. It's just that sometimes high-end products do work better for deeper skin tones in very hot humid weather like Chennai. So anyways, for primer, I'm going to use the Lakme Absolute Blur Perfect. This is still one of my absolute favorite primers. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. You can actually mix primers also if you want to, but I'm not going to do that for today. I'm just going to keep it simple and do just the Lakme primer. I'm taking a little bit on my hand and just putting it on my cheek, chin, and then whatever's left over, I'm going to put it under my eyes. So nothing too crazy. Apply very little primer. You don't need too much at all. The e.l.f. gripping primer is also really good if you want your makeup to last a very long time, but you have to make sure you don't use anything like this sunscreen. You have to use something that doesn't have any silica because it does sort of somehow disrupt that. And now we're going to get into the actual color correction which you guys have been waiting for. I have narrowed it down to two main orange correctors that I swear by, that I think will work for pretty much everyone. The first one is the LA Girl Pro Conceal. This is one of the OG favorite ones. The only problem with this though, it separates. So if you actually take it out after a very long time and you try to squeeze it on your hand, it'll have this like weird film on top, which I actually overlooked over the years because I didn't really find it to be a big deal. I always anyways mix this in the tube before I squeeze it out. So that's the one thing you have to keep in mind. It is a little bit more deeper than the other one that I'm about to show you, and I don't prefer this during the summers because it is a little bit more creamier than I would prefer now. But I still have it on hand. It's still something I go ahead for, and if you are confused about which orange corrector to go for, this is a good one to practice with. It's a good one to keep in your kit regardless of, you know, all of the other things I just mentioned. So because this was one that I keep repurchasing. I think this is like my 4th tube or something like that, so I love this one. But for today I'm going to use the Dow Beauty concealer. This is the Dow Beauty orange corrector. This is a newer product that I've added into my routine and it is beautiful. The tone of the orange corrector is just right for my skin tone at the moment. Show you guys side by side. The first one is Dow Beauty and then the second one is LA Girl Pro Conceal. You can see the LA Girl one is a little bit more red and the Dow Beauty is a little bit more orange. At this stage I would like something more orange than red, so that's why I prefer the Dow Beauty one. And also with the LA Girl Pro Conceal, you have to make sure that you are applying very thin layers, blending it out and set it with a little bit of powder, which that technique I don't use anymore with the Dow Beauty concealer. So I'm going to leave another link for you if you want to see this one in action. So for now, let's just move on to this orange corrector from Dow Beauty. So I'm going to go directly from the wand. I'm going to place it exactly where I have darkness. I'm not going to apply too much. You don't have to apply it like a concealer like you would like this. You just have to apply a little bit. You just want it to correct the darkness. You don't want it to be orange underneath. So just apply little teeny tiny bits because this concealer specifically also spreads quite nicely. So I'm just gonna do under my eyes, on my eyelid, and then around my mouth as well. For the longest time I was using a brush to blend it under my eyes, but I find that that takes too much time, so I've stopped doing that now. I just use my ring finger and I just go right there. I'm not pulling the concealer, I'm just sort of patting it underneath, making sure that it's focusing right under that hollow and not going and dragging it down to the rest of my skin. I just want this to match my skin as much as possible. So you'll see the difference on my right side almost immediately. You don't want it to completely cover the darkness. Your concealer is going to do most of the heavy lifting when it comes to that. So for now you're just correcting that gray tone that your eyes have. This side is looking a little bit more even. It is sort of matching my skin tone. It's obviously orange, it's not light. You can still see there's a little bit of darkness, but it is way better than how it looks on this side. So that's what you want. You want your skin to have a very thin layer of orange corrector. You don't have to apply too much of orange corrector. You just have to apply enough so that it covers that darkness. If you apply too much, then you're going to work extra hard to conceal all of that oranginess, which is something we don't want, right? If you want your skin to look like skin, the best way to do it is to do it in layers. You can still see there's some darkness on my eyes, but that's normal. Like, we're gonna get that fixed. So right now this is what we're dealing with. We have corrected most of the darkness. Now if you ever wanted to set this, take a nice loose powder. It can be a yellow powder, translucent powder, whatever it is, and a nice fluffy brush. This is from PAC. This is the PAC EG powder brush. You're gonna take a little bit on your brush, lightly tap it on the skin. Again, I'm not gonna do this technique because with this product I don't need to. This is the Faye Solar Dew Stick Double Dew. I'm just gonna take a little bit and apply it on the high points of my face, like so. Underneath foundation, this looks really nice, and when you're in sunlight, it just picks up the skin really nicely. So yeah, I just do that at this stage. I don't know, it's just a little extra step that nobody needs to do. Now for foundation, I'm going to use a trusted combination of foundations. So right now I'm going to use these two. This is by Smashbox. This is Smashbox Always On T20W foundation. This is a little too dark for me, and then this is the MAC Studio Radiance Serum Powered Foundation. I'm kind of going to mix these two. So this one is very long lasting, is a beautiful finish foundation. If you want like really good makeup days, you're gonna trust this. It works. And then this one is also really good. MAC foundations generally are really good, but this one on its own sometimes doesn't last that long. So I mix the two. I'm mixing it on my palette right here. I got this on Amazon. I'm going to do about 2 to 3 pumps of the MAC and just about 1.5 pumps of the Smashbox. So you can see those two are right there. I don't know why people talk about, you know, putting so much foundation on. Like, you don't need to squeeze your foundation on your face or anything like that. You need the tiniest amount. Because I'm a makeup creator and because I have one of these spatulas, so I'm just going to use that to mix the foundation really nicely. See, you don't have to do this technique or this method. You can just use the back of your brush or even your fingers. It just came with this palette, by the way. So I'm gonna take whatever's left on top, and you can see that it's a good match. I'm just applying on my cheek area majorly. That's all. I'm literally just gonna do that much. And then I'm taking this brush. This is the Tira foundation brush. Love this stippling brush. Talked about this even on my Tira video. I love it. So now I'm just going to stipple the product. I'm not pulling it down. You can pull it down if you want to, like this. But you're just going to mostly stipple it like this. That just helps with more coverage without adding too much product. So you can see that covered up pretty much all of that. And now same thing on this side. You can see I'm avoiding the under eye area. I'm just trying to cover the majority of my face. I'm going around the nose, on the nose, and then the side of my forehead. Usually I don't apply makeup on my forehead. I don't know why. I've just never really done that. But if you don't want to do the spatula technique, you can also dot the foundation. I find that that doesn't actually evenly spread the foundation. You can even do the mixing on the back of your hand. So let's say it's on the back of your hand. You're going to take a little bit of foundation like so, and then go on the back of your hand to coat the foundation properly on your brush. So this helps get all of the foundation on all the bristles, and that will help with even application. If you just dip it and then go on top, it's gonna, I don't know, somehow it just looks a little bit patchy. You're gonna spend more time blending on your face, and you don't want to do that. Sometimes you might apply way too much product on one side than the other. I'm gonna bring it down my neck a little bit, but not too much. I don't do the whole full neck, by the way. I just do like that much. I'm gonna take a little bit more and then focus on my chin. Literally, that's all I do. I don't apply any foundation under my eyes. I just leave it be. Covered the face with foundation. You can see that it's very thin. It's not cakey. It's not weird. It just sits on top of the skin really nicely, and it's not very dewy either. I love that with this two foundations. It's beautiful. Now we're gonna go in with concealer. Now this is my current favorite combo of concealers. I always experiment with concealers. I have, like I said, very intense dark circles that will show through despite me using orange corrector. So if you don't have very deep set eyes like I do, and you don't have very intense dark circles like I do, then you don't have to do this step. But I'm gonna go in with a slightly darker concealer. This is the shade Dark Rum. It looks something like this. Let me show you. It's like ever so slightly darker. I'm gonna go under my eye with this right here, exactly where that deepness or that deep setness is. I'm just gonna go there and I'm not gonna pull it too much. Then I'm going to follow it up with a concealer that is similar to my skin tone, which is the shade Brandy. This is a really good concealer, but the only problem is you have to make sure that it does not have anything underneath. Like, it should not have anything emollient, which is why I don't use an eye cream. So if I use an eye cream, it's going to crease like crazy. I'm just gonna do a little bit like this, like that. So it's not a lot, it looks like a lot, it's not a lot, I promise you. Favorite brush, I've talked about this brush like a million times. This is the RT 200. This is the Face Expert brush. I like this because it's dense and it's sort of dome shaped. So I'm gonna go in and I'm just going to kind of look down and press the product. You're not gonna swipe the product, you're not gonna blend it like this. Just press it up and down, like just press it like this. You're just going to stipple it, and that's automatically going to blend it for you. Can you see that? And now whatever's left over, I'm just going to put on my eyelids. So with my eyelids, I don't apply too much concealer. I like that some of my dark circles show through on my eyelids. Now if you want to completely cancel it, leave it blank, you can apply more concealer, but I'm not going to do that because again, it causes creasing. Like, the more products you apply, the more creasing there is. And usually I go in with a nice eyeshadow and I feel like my dark circles look good on their own, like on top. So I just ever so slightly apply the concealer. So you can see it's a very smooth, even application. It covered up the dark circles. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. There we go. Oh my god, look at that. So you can see there's a little bit of like the deepness, right? In real life you can't really see that, but on camera it does look a little like I still have dark circle because of the shape of my face. So I'm gonna take a little bit more, just go right here, like right here, and then around my mouth, right there. Concealer brush, this is from PAC. This is the PAC EG angled concealer brush. It has an angle to it and it's quite dense. So we're gonna take that and just blend that out. Same place, you're not gonna drag it like that, same technique only. There we go, blends in 2 seconds. That's what I love about this brush. This concealer is mad good. I immediately go in with blush. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the Lush blush. This is in the shade, I think it's the shade Silly, yeah, Silly, and go right on almost like the contour of my face, right on the cheekbone right here. I don't like contouring much, so this is my favorite way to do my blush. And then I'm going to take the shade Wifey. This is a lot more purple, bright pink. It's really good for the summer. So I'm just going to apply that right on the center like that and blend her out. This blush does blend quite nicely on top of powder also, but just to avoid any sort of cakiness, I like having like a really nice smooth base. I do prefer to do my blush before I do powder. So you can see that the highlighter that we applied earlier, you can see that it kind of shows, but it doesn't show over here because we applied the foundation. You can see that it still shows through the foundation. That's why we applied the double dew highlighter, which is why I like it. I like that technique, it works. It's a very subtle thing to notice, but it works. Then I'm going to use loose powder. This is my absolute favorite loose powder. I cannot negotiate for some reason. I have tried other powders and I'm going to show you how I use them as well, but the Bint Beauty powder is insane. I have completed most of it. So what I'm going to do is just put it on the cap right here, so that much, and grab a puff. I know this is dirty, please don't come for me. I didn't wash any of my brushes. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the powder on the puff like so. You can see that the powder is there, right? If you go in directly like this, it's going to grab onto all of the wet parts of your concealer and it's going to look very bad. So make sure that you never dip and then go directly underneath. You're going to spend more time like blending and fixing that, so don't do that. What you're going to do is you're going to pick up the product on your puff, take your hand, smooth it out on your hand. This is not wasting product, this is just making sure that there's even amount of powder on the puff. Take the brush again and just go right underneath one more time to remove or blend any of the creases, and then quickly dab. Even if it doesn't seem like a lot of powder, it will still set. You can see, there you go, it's set. It's set. That's how you do it. Because we did the blush, the concealer might have set into the creases, So just to make sure that we don't have any creases, we're going to blend it one more time and then go directly with the powder. I like to go in pretty hard with the powder, so I'm going to do another layer of powder on both sides because I do have, again, a lot of creases and stuff like that, and I don't want that to be seen. So we're going to blend her out. The warmth of your skin will sort of absorb the powder, so it's not going to look like a lot unless you're planning to bake. Now I personally don't like baking because I feel like my skin particularly, it just grabs on to all of that excess powder. It just looks like a hot mess, and I have tried it many times. If you don't blend it properly, it's gonna grab on like this and you're gonna spend time blending it out, and instead of doing that, you always have to make sure that you put it on your hand and then apply. If you feel like it's not applying enough powder, don't worry, it is doing its job. You just have to be patient and just apply enough powder like so. Around my nose, around my mouth, under my eyes, all of these places, you want to make sure you're setting it really nicely. After this, what I like to do is either set it with a nice powder. This is like a nice blurring powder from Juicy Chemistry. I have talked about this in another video. If you guys want to see that in action, you can. This is not that great to control oil. It's just nice to set your makeup with. Another powder that I like for blurring is the Benefit Professional. This is a really nice powder. It's very finely milled. You just need a little bit. When you're picking up loose powders with a brush, take a little bit directly from the tub and then blend it out and disperse it evenly on the cap. So that's how you apply powder from the thing. So I'm going to place that directly on top of my nose because that's where I get a lot of oiliness. So I do either the Benefit powder or the Juicy Chemistry. I don't do both. So majority of the work is done in the base part of the makeup. Go in with brows. I'm going to brush this upwards and then fill. Thankfully, I don't have too much to work on my brows, at least from what I have noticed. I just connect the front bit of my brow and draw like a straight-ish line to the tail. So that's all I do. I don't do anything else crazy. And then you're gonna brush it upward. A lot of people ask me what I do to my brows. This is what I do. I make sure to shave my brows and my face also about once a week because it does help with how your makeup looks at the end. This is the Verified New Age Neutrals palette. I have used this so many times and I've talked about it in a reel as well. I'm gonna dip my brush into the peach and a little bit of the light brown, dust off the excess, and then go on my lids. This helps with blending out any of the creases, adds like a base layer of powder, which is going to help with anything else that I apply. So for today, I'm going to do a very simple, like everyday makeup look. It's not going to look intense or anything like that. It's going to look very like what I would do if I was running late. I call this muscle memory makeup. Like I don't have to think too much about the makeup, you know what I mean? That is the kind of look I'm doing for today. This is a Pro Arte PF08 brush. Now using the same brush, I'm going to dip into the dark brown right here and I'm going to place it on the outer edge like so. You can see that caused a little bit of a shadow. So just place it like that and then blend with like circular motions and windshield wiper motions, and that will add some nice definition for you. Same thing on the other side. If you want to make it intense, take a little bit more and focus directly on that crease on the outer edge. Now I'm going to take a small brush. I'm going to dip it into this color right here, which is a nice metallic sort of champagne color. We're going to place it directly on the center of the lid. Again, I'm not going for a very blinky look. I'm just looking for something that will enhance my eye shape, make my eyes look slightly bigger. That same color and place it on the inner corner. Someone the other day was asking me how to place stuff in the inner corner. You just have to place it on the bone. You don't have to place it on the inner corner itself. Just place it on that socket and bring it upward, and that's it. Now I'm going to do eyeliner. I have recently been loving this. This is the Benefit Their Real Extreme Precision Liner. I have never seen this type of a tip in any drugstore eyeliner. This one is one of a kind and absolutely beautiful. We actually gave this away at my Benefit event, and a lot of the creators that got this were telling me how amazing this liner is. Like, they love this as much as I do. Start at the center of my eye where my pupil is and just draw a line kind of straight towards the crease. So my eye is still open. I am not closing my eyes when I do this. I just do a straight line because I have hooded eyes. Like, when I do this, you can't see my eyeliner, so you have to go a little bit straight like that. And then from the bottom lash line, I'm gonna draw another line to connect the top line. And then it's all about filling it in. Once I'm done filling it, I place it very close to the lash line on the inner corner. In my opinion, you can never get it to look perfect on both sides. We're gonna look past that, I don't really care. So for mascara, I'm using the Maybelline Colossal waterproof mascara. I did a collaboration with them. I cannot believe I did a collaboration with Maybelline. Like, honestly, what the hell did I just do? I literally grew up wearing this. This was my first mascara ever. With mascara, what I like to do is I just keep my mirror a little bit downward. I don't do this. I just keep it a little bit downward so that I can see every lash that I'm coating, and then go slowly and just coat every lash back and forth. I do take my time with mascara because I don't like applying false lashes, and this is the best way to get as much volume and length as you possibly can. The mascara is doing its job. I love this. I love this mascara. I'm so back into Maybelline mascaras now. So now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of more blush because I feel like the blush, somehow I didn't apply enough. I feel like we need just a little teeny tiny bit more. So for that, I'm going to use a powder blush. Now at this stage, I don't go in back with the cream blush because I feel like it can disrupt all of the work that we just did with the powder. So we're just going to use a powder blush. This one's from Color Bar. Just go right on top there. Now that we're done with the blush, all of the base stuff is done. Now we're going to move on to the fun part, which is lipstick. I'm going to grab Faye liquid lip in the shade Straps. This is unnecessarily too many steps, but I like how this looks. So I take a little bit of the liquid lipstick on my palette right here. And then I take an angled brush. This one is meant for your eyes actually, but I just coat the brush, line eyelid with it on the brush, and this gives like a subtle look without it being too intense, and you have more control when you do this, so it just looks so much more nicer. Maybelline Lifter Gloss. This is the shade Bubblegum. I think this is quite nice. It's a nice pretty pink color. I'm gonna go right there in the center like that, and that is it. Woo! This is the final look. This is what my makeup looks like. This is my everyday like muscle memory makeup. Like I said, I don't think much about it, but the thing is, at the end of the day, when you're back home from your work or whatever, just play around with your makeup and try and test products. The more you test them, the more you will be able to understand the product and how it works on your own skin. I know not everyone has half an hour to do their makeup every single day, but I kind of need it because I do have that much hyperpigmentation and dark circles and all of that. Now that I know how to do my makeup, I can get this down in like 15 minutes maximum. So I don't spend this much time doing it, if you know what I mean, because it did take some time for me to do it because I was talking to the camera. But this only comes with practice and a lot of trial and error. So if you want to get good with your makeup, that is what you need to do. You need to figure out what products work for you and what don't, and try different combinations of the products like I did here. Like for example, I know that I can't do eye cream with my concealer, so that's why I don't do it, and you can see how smooth my makeup looks like, and that's only because I have tried all those different combinations. So that's what I would recommend you guys to do as well. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this full tutorial of my makeup. If you did, please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to follow me on IG. I post there every single day, so if you want to be more updated with me, then please follow me on IG. Be sure to subscribe, okay? I'm watching you. I'm waiting for you to subscribe. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions and if you want me to do any other tutorials. I just felt like this was a good tutorial to start with. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.